E3 2011.
All right, gang. Daniel Kaiser back here with Nate from Nintendo. And obviously, Zelda 25th anniversary. We're getting ready to give you guys the first live look at a demo gameplay for the first time ever. But obviously, you guys orchestrated quite the celebration this morning for the franchise and its 25th anniversary in Zelda. Some changes with Skyward Sword. Nate, tell us about the story in the game.
Yeah, you got a really brief glimpse of it sort of in the trailer this morning. But we wanted to start out by showing you a little bit of the sort of the land above the clouds. And this is, in this game, this is really where Link grew up. There's a town called Skyloft. And the birds that you saw sort of cruising in the trailer in the beginning are their primary modes of transportation. You see people kind of just hopping off of the sides of the island and then taking flight on their birds and flying around. So there's going to be a lot of gameplay based around that. You cruise through the air. You can actually dump off of the bird at any time to drop onto little islands. So the exploration is a huge part of the gameplay. What you're seeing actually right now is a small game that you have to do at the beginning where you're basically trying to test your bird skills to catch one specific bird that's carrying a statue. And it's one of the ways that Link proves sort of his mettle and his skill as a bird pilot. The exploration is sort of reminiscent of Wind Waker for me, actually, because you sort of get this sense of a sprawling sea of clouds that you could just drop down at any point and explore individual islands.
So this is something you come back to throughout the game. This is not just a one-time.
Exactly, and the way it's structured is actually pretty fascinating. At any point you can drop down below the clouds, but when you find a save statue or something similar, basically they're bird statues scattered throughout the underworld, and you can pop back up through the clouds at any point and go back to this central town. So, if you need, you run out of potions or you need to, get a different weapon or something like that. At any point, you pop back up, go to your town, and then you can dump back below the clouds.
Talk a little bit about the flying mechanics specifically. Obviously, Wii Motion Plus is a huge part of this game. Talk a little bit about what you'll be doing to control your birds in the air.
It couldn't be simpler. It's similar to Wii Sports Resort flying in that you're guiding the bird sort of like a paper plane like this. So your gliding motion is entirely the Wii remote. And then if you want to flap, you just make a flapping gesture basically with your hand. And you can also press the A button to do sort of a dash move if you want to catch up to something. As you can see, he caught the bird and he got the statue. But one of the best things about this game is that this is only the beginning. Above the clouds is only a part of the game. And I want to take a look down below at the world below as well.
So descend down from the clouds, and obviously a key to any Zelda game is going to be the dungeons aspect and exploration and things like that. Now, we should clarify, what we're looking at here is portions of what's being shown here on the floor at E3 2011, an exciting chance for gamers to get their hands on it as well. But walk us through what we're taking a look at here in just a moment with the dungeons and obviously the exploration gameplay. Talk about the emphasis that will be placed here in Skyward Sword.
Sure. Well, I mean, of course, with the Zelda franchise, it's always a very delicate balance of wanting to show stuff that is familiar, people expect out of the Zelda franchise, but also do new things. And with this game, I can't, we could spend half an hour here talking about all the new stuff, but the way they've actually structured this is going to seem both familiar and really, really new to fans. You'll, of course, sort of be looking for dungeons and be expecting to find items in dungeons, but this entire game is practically a dungeon. I mean, you'll basically be going through an area just to get to the dungeon is practically a dungeon in and of itself. There are puzzles everywhere, within the dungeons, without the dungeons. Every enemy is practically a puzzle. As you can see, he's fighting here, and with Wii Motion Plus, of course, he's, every motion is mapped exactly like this. So you can't just go in there and start flailing around at enemies like this. Every enemy has tells. Every enemy will open himself up for a moment, and you have to strike at that moment or block him with your shield at that moment and then hit him. Really, every aspect of the game is sort of infused with puzzleness, as it were. And then even the structure of going to dungeons is very, very different. I mean, you'll find yourself going back into a dungeon that you were in previously. You might go back into the first dungeon hours and hours later in the game, which is totally new for the franchise.
The story elements are what unlock you and take you back to these same places,
Oh, yeah.
and what keeps them fresh? Because, I mean, off the top of the bat, that sounds, the word backtracking comes up, but it's not
It's not that at all. One of the most important features in the game is sort of finding items and finding, looking for plot elements amongst all the things that are going on down in the world below. And one of the things that keeps it fresh, I know that for me anyways, with a lot of the older Zelda games, I'll be looking for for treasure chests, and I find treasure chests and I get some more rupees, and I'm like, great, I get some more rupees. There's a huge collection aspect in this game where you're constantly actually collecting ingredients to upgrade your weapons. So you'll be going through and you find a chest and there'll be some sort of a horn in it, and you'll find out that you need to find a couple of these, and then maybe you can turn your slingshot into something better than a slingshot. So you're constantly being encouraged to sort of root out every nook and cranny.
Okay, we're taking a look at an iconic boss fight or mini boss fight here. Is that right?
Yeah, this isn't even close to a boss. The bosses are huge, but every enemy, like I said, presents its own challenges. You can't just go in here and start flailing around and expect to kill this thing. You can see it's actually holding.
Right.
He's producing a weak spot here that you can do, and so you have to have not only the brains to figure out what exactly is going on, but also the manual dexterity to pull it off.
It's looking amazing, Nate. We appreciate it. I can't wait to get on the floor and play it. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure.
And giving us a first look at the game.